And on the audio now.
Table over there. Are we ready? Yes. Over there. Maybe. Ready enough? Are we ready enough? Yeah, ready-ish. Okay. I'm gonna use my mom voice. Maybe everybody will take their seats. I don't have a teacher voice. I have to leave that up to the teachers in the room, but I have a mom voice, so. All right, so I'm gonna bring our meeting to order at 6:02 on this Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. If we could have a roll call, please. Ms. Jones?
Yes. Rachel Merriquin,
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Present.
Lauren Dowden,
Present.
Michael Thomas. Denise Jones, yes. Michael R. Miller.
Absent with notice.
Colleen Clemzak.
Someone has to be the yay person while Michael's gone, right? Like,
Maybe for his birthday.
maybe he's watching. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, if my board could approve the agenda as at their seats at the table. There are more additions noted. There are additions to the additions section of the consent agenda that, we followed that from the original posting is also. So with those changes, if I could have a first motion to approve the agenda as outlined.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as outlined.
Thank you.
Second motion.
Excellent. And a roll call, please.
Yes. Michael Thomas,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
Rachel Merriquin,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. Motion passed. Great. Thank you very much. Staff reports, please.
Our first report for this evening is just a reminder from our D124 Foundation that we have our Back to School Bash next week. It is an exciting event for everyone to attend. We welcome all community members to participate. It is August 24th, located on Central's property from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. We have a lot of fun activities. There's always foam, which everyone knows is my
I
favorite
told a fifth grade
thing.
girl about foam the other day, and she's like,
Yes.
oh yes, I'll be there. So, yes.
Yes, and we have Caesar, who is also one of our parents who supports in making tacos that everyone can purchase. Our high school also participates, and we have a number of other events that take place. So we encourage everyone to partake in that event. The foundation is always looking for sponsors, so if anyone from our community is interested in sponsoring the event, you can contact either me directly or our D124 Foundation.
Awesome.
Okay,
8 days away.
days away.
8 days away.
Might be the first day of student attendance.
It will be. Very exciting. Only an hour and a half though, so we won't be keeping them up late before a full day of school.
Correct. That's perfect.
Just so we know.
Thursday into Friday.
Right.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
So my next report is for the Board of Education and our community to ensure that we understand where we are in our Evergreen Park School District's 124 vision and strategic plan. As a board, you will see you have a document in front of you in which I'm going to outline where we're headed as a district. I am thrilled to say that we are in our second year of implementation of our strategic plan, aligning our goals to our mission and ensuring that we're providing the highest quality services to our students. So I'm going to walk you through each component so you understand where we are and where we are going. So first of all, welcome to the 23-24 school year. We are thrilled to have kids back next week, and my administrative team, this is my time to say, I do not do any of this work independently, and I'm so proud to be a part of such a high-functioning staff that really allows for consistency and alignment in all of our goals and all the work that we do. I am just so proud of their work and the continuation of our strategic plan in order to enact the goals that we have as a district. So first of all, the mission and vision of District 124. We have really created an environment of collaboration between all stakeholders. We are working on high quality instruction. That is everything that we do. I like to say the most important thing that we do is teach kids. We're investing in high quality educators and all the educational resources that we need in order to provide our students high quality resources. We are creating and innovating for our future, a future that we don't know what that will predict, but it's essential that we continue to keep up to date with those trends. And we're providing facilities that align with our instructional goals, which is always essential and on the forefront of our mind. How's that gym going back there? Almost done.
Gym about the gym.
Yes, that Southeast gym just looks absolutely beautiful, and I'm just so pleased to have kids welcomed back into that facility. As a reminder, we have 5 strategic goals that we are working towards. Those 5 goals are culture, communication, curriculum, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and student support services. It is important as we work towards our strategic goals that we really provide focus to our community. So for the 23-24 school year, we've really aligned some of our practices to ensure that our administration, our board, and our staff understands where we're going. So for the 23-24 school year in curriculum and instruction, we are really focusing on evaluating our ELA curriculum from a culturally responsive lens and implementing common assessments in mathematics and providing training to staff on data analysis. So something that Dr. Carlson and I recognized upon our start was the essential need to have alignment in curriculum on a pre-K through 8th grade lens, and then also having consistent implementation of assessments. Because like I say, we have a beautiful world here in Evergreen Park where we have all 4 elementary buildings that feed into one middle school. And so having that alignment with our assessments is essential to our success long term. One of our main focuses for next school year is around inclusion. So we all know we all win when we're all included. And our Student Support Services Department is really working towards collaborative practices across educational settings to establish a strong special education department. I am so appreciative of the board's support that we had in increasing the staff capacity in this department specifically. We have a new district case manager, and we also have a behavior specialist on staff. This was a direct response from feedback that we had from teachers, and that we have seen the need to increase the support to ensure the mental health of our students is being addressed appropriately. This past summer, we established a joint committee of educators to provide feedback and action on inclusive practices. Ms. Terrell will report out on that in September. We're also evaluating special education services with a research-based inclusive practice in mind, really focusing on what is essential in a least restrictive environment. It is so crucial that we provide as many resources for our students with special needs and that they have the opportunity to really push into a gen ed environment as much as possible. Additionally, we'll be partnering with our DEI coordinator, Amanda Hattar, to provide parent workshops to increase awareness of resources, interventions, and family support, and that will be done in conjunction with our Student Supports Department. Our next goal is around PBIS and SEL. And so the district will evaluate and implement current supports to address the social and emotional and mental well-being of our students and staff. One of the most critical aspects of our district is having established PBIS systems, and we're really working on fidelity of behavior interventions and again ensuring alignment from a pre-K through 8th grade lens. Additionally, with SEL, we are starting more so at Central Middle School, in which we're piloting 2 curriculums on an SEL level as we shift to an advisory block for Central. It's a 30-minute advisory in which all students will be exposed to that SEL curriculum. We intend to bring a recommendation to the board by May for what that SEL curriculum will be. Next, the district will review and establish hiring practices and retention practices to address culturally diverse needs of the district. We intend to bring a proposal to the board to research and present a grow your own internal university. And so we're excited. We've been brainstorming quite a bit on what that could look like and sound like in order to, again, recruit and retain high quality educators. Additionally, something else aligned to our strategic plan is to take a deeper dive with our discipline data to determine disproportionality of non-majority students. That would include students who are have IEPs or students of color. That too is also aligned to our PBIS work that Rebecca Otero will report out on tonight. So, with all of those initiatives, it's important that we have alignment. And if you recall, something we've really been focusing on is establishing an integrated framework of support, and that's everything we do with a lens of equity in mind, academics, social and emotional learning, and the behavior of a student. And so we've really created a framework to ensure that we're in alignment and those goals are all driven by our Student Support Services Department and our Curriculum Department. So the next portion of this is one of my favorite topics because we can't do all of this work without providing high quality professional development to our educators and supporting our teachers on a level to which they are successful in all of this implementation. So as a district, we've really shifted our belief statements in terms of providing high quality professional development, focusing on coaching, and ensuring that we have sustained ongoing professional development for our staff. So everyone knows I believe in coaching all educators. I believe myself, I'm still a coach, and that when I work with people, that we're really providing them the resources that they need to be successful. I'm so pleased that we have instructional coaches at every one of our buildings and that we're able to provide that sustained professional development. And with the expansion of our Student Support Services Department, those individuals will also be located in our buildings in order to provide our special education teachers with the support they need to be successful. So at this time, I have asked Dr. Carlson and Rebecca Otero to talk about their professional development goals for their department.
So we're very busy. The curriculum calendar is chock full already. So the first thing that we're going to be working on is we're launching our new ELA curriculum, grades K-8. So if you remember that CKLA Amplify CKLA grades K-5, Springboard in 6-8. So we've started with that training. Our middle school teachers were in 2 days this week getting their Springboard training. We also have a day of training for CKLA in our 3 TI days. So that training will start. It really will need to be ongoing. So we're also going to use our instructional coaches to continue with that work as well to make sure that we're implementing with fidelity. And then also hopefully provide some mid-year boost training as well. Maybe the January TI day, we're gonna kind of assess what the needs are and make those plans then. So we will continue with the ongoing job embedded learning with our grade level teams. We've really put those times in this year in our late start calendar to make sure that our district teams can continue to meet to work on their common assessments. So looking at those common assessments and having a protocol in place that they will use to analyze that data as well. So that will be part of our late start Wednesdays. And then we will continue with our learning walks. So we will do those 3 times this year. Remember, our school improvement teams do those learning walks in the fall, and then again in the winter, and then again in the spring. And the data that we're able to get during those learning walks aligned to our high quality Tier 1 framework will be able to help us to drive professional development at the building level based on trends that we're noticing, but then also at a district level as well. So the data that we're able to collect throughout the year during those learning walks is really valuable. And then DEI, can I just tell you how wonderful it is to have Amanda? She's doing a fabulous job already. She'll be up here to talk to you all in a bit. So she's going to help to provide training just across the board with our staff. She's doing something for our new teachers. One of the things that we talked a lot about as part of our equity action plan is the ongoing professional development. So we did a lot last year, if you remember, during our late start Wednesdays, we had professional development throughout the year. she's providing that. We know that we have new teachers this year that did not receive that training. So she's gonna be providing some of that at our Academy Day tomorrow. And then we will also continue with that as well. And then she's also will be doing some building-based professional development as part of Becky's Student Support Services inclusion work. So she'll also provide professional development for staff at the building level then too. So, it's exciting.
Thank you.
I brought notes because I have a lot to talk about. So we've been really busy this year already, as Dr. Woodland said. Fortunately, I have more staff to kind of utilize to support some of this professional development, which we started last year, especially when you talk about student IEPs and, writing high quality IEPs. So one of the things that we were able to do this summer was kind of take a deep dive using a state rubric into those IEPs and plan for some of that professional development in the upcoming year. So we're looking at supporting our special education teachers and writing those high quality IEPs, creating our own IEP rubric for goals and objectives specifically, so we can make sure that they are ensuring that students' present levels are data driven and aligned to their goals and objectives, and then having our case managers out in the buildings supporting teachers and teaching them how to use the rubric, how to write those goals and objectives, and kind of supporting them to monitor and collect that data. That's some of the special education committee work that I'll talk to you about in September, but that's definitely going to be an ongoing process throughout the year. We also are going to utilize our school psychologists this year because we are, knock on wood, fully staffed with 3 to kind of dive deeper into supporting our staff and understanding cognitive profiles of students and what that is, what that looks like, how that can help design their instruction and support the accommodations and modifications that they might need. Some of the other professional development we'll be providing at the middle school, specifically around the area of co-teaching. So we're going to start with ELA and math specifically. We have a case manager that will be attending like weekly plan time, kind of supporting co-teachers as well as other team members on choosing a co-teaching strategy, utilizing that strategy in the classroom, planning for that strategy, and monitoring that strategy for fidelity, all centered around student achievement, impacting students in the most positive way. We're also going to be providing some ongoing training for staff on inclusive practices, again, pairing up with the DEI, Amanda, and kind of crossing over. So we have a fabulous BCBA who will be doing a lot of training for all of our staff, really focusing on some neurodiversity. For everyone who does not know what neurodiversity is really understanding that everybody learns, interacts, and behaves differently, and looking at those, not looking at those behaviors or those interactions as a deficit per se, but utilizing some of those things to help students succeed, all students. We also are utilizing our school psychologist to provide some training on executive functions. So again, like what executive functions are, what that looks like in the classroom, and then how you can support students who might have some of those weaknesses in those areas. And then we are also, I'll talk a little bit about PBIS and SEL, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. We're going to continue with our DCLT leadership team, and then we've moved into our school-based teams, and we're providing some monthly coaching around our PBIS using our tiered fidelity tool. We're also going to dig deeper in our paraprofessional training and professional development, again, utilizing our BCBA, our case managers, and our school psychologists. Some of the things that we're focusing on, obviously we have paraprofessionals across the district that are utilized in different ways. Some are classroom paraprofessionals, some work one-on-one, some are just in our early childhood classrooms. So we're really kind of looking into all of those roles and adapting some of our trainings to that. So some of the things that we're doing are like overall functions of behavior, for paraprofessionals that support students that struggle with behaviors or have behavior intervention plans. We're going to be looking into diving into those behavior intervention plans, proactive, reactive strategies, data collection. We're also going to train them on helping or supporting students and classroom teachers with their accommodations or modifications that might be on their individualized education plans. Also doing some strength-based communication, what that looks like when discussing a student, and then also fostering independence and prompting. So a couple of our classrooms in our structured learning program, we have students that aren't necessarily as verbal, so we definitely utilize our paras to support prompting, but we also want our students to become more independent. So using a prompting hierarchy to kind of foster that independence. So just kind of diving deeper into providing that paraprofessional training to really support our students and staff members.
Thank you so much.
So
That's a lot. Sounds like awesome.
our calendar's blocked.
Amazing. Thank you.
And then the final piece to this puzzle is to ensure that our building and district leadership is also trained, just so they can support in carrying that message out. We've really shifted our building leadership meetings and will continue to do so, to which we're providing sustained professional development to our administrative staff as well. So you'll see in front of you have an outlined calendar for our principals and our district staff to also participate in this training to be able to support in pushing out that message to the building level. And that, the last thing that you'll notice in your packet that's not posted is I've provided just a summary of all of our goals of our strategic plan and where I believe we are in progress, ongoing, complete. So you can see, what we're working towards as we go. And I'm happy to answer any questions at this time aligned to our vision and mission of our strategic goals for the 23-24 school year. I did a lot of talking. I don't normally talk that much.
We started with a lot of information,
Yes.
just right off the,
Yes.
oh my God.
Welcome to the 23-24 school year.
Great information. It just amazes me all the things that go on when there aren't students.
Yes.
Like, the year does not finish. It's not like everyone's sitting around
Right.
eating bonbons,
I actually said to
watching,
Ashley, I need
binging Netflix, right? Like, my gosh.
I need kids to come back so I have more distractions, right?
But it's amazing, so thank you for all the work that's been going on.
So as the year continues, as we go throughout the year,
Yes.
are we gonna have some data to support these elements?
Absolutely. You'll have continued data, and I think it's most critical, especially with like academic achievement, for example, or if we're reviewing discipline data tied to our DEI initiatives, that you as the Board of Education sees that information and action associated with it. 100%. Any other questions?
Completes are fun.
Great.
Great, thank you so much.
So our next topic is we had an administrative retreat. This is one of my favorite things to do. I love to throw a good party, right guys? So it wasn't really a retreat. We did go to St. Xavier, so I like to have it off property so we can really talk about big picture goals and initiatives. And so I like to call my team the Dream Team. We have a theme this year is to be brave, and that's really to encourage vulnerability and building relationships with our staff. And so I encourage all of my administrators to support our teachers in that capacity. So the first day of our administrative retreat, we really spent time reviewing building and district goals, understanding professional development planning for our upcoming school year. That says the wrong year. It should say 23-24.
We know what you mean.
Okay, great. And then team building and collaboration. Our second day was really focused on crisis response planning, in other words, school safety. We participated in a safety scenario training, and we also had participation from the Evergreen Park Police Department. We completed an administrative training on the district's internal communication system, which is an updated application that I had significant support from Eric Grossi on, so I appreciate his help and assistance. And then all teachers will be trained on the updated crisis response plan and internal communication system on August 24th. So we'll dedicate that half day of our school improvement planning to crisis response, school safety, and our updated procedures. As always, we're always reflecting on how do we make our schools as safe as possible, and it will continue to be an ongoing support system.
I really appreciate you sharing that out with us.
Yes.
That was, very helpful.
And next, and last for me, is enrollment and registration. So this is the time of year, and I am very pleased. I feel like some systems that we changed for this upcoming school year really allowed us to be on the mark with enrollment, and we fortunately are fully staffed where we don't have to recommend like an additional kindergarten teacher or an additional first grade teacher. So that is, I'm very pleased to see that successfully come to fruition. So for new enrollment, we have 152 students currently that are new students to the district. As you will see, most of them are kindergarten students, so 108 are kindergarten students, which are considered new to the district. And then we have 1,439 returning students. And then a completed enrollment of 1,591. This is similar to where we are typically around this time of year, but we still are accepting registration and enrollment. And typically that does after Labor Day. We are fully have everyone returning. Couple more weeks.
We really have our final
Yes.
numbers.
Yes.
Close to 1,600 though. Right around 1,800
Yeah.
last year, so.
Yes. And again, just to note, this is like a completed registration. We've checked residency, all of those things. So
Packets were picked up yesterday.
packet pickup was yesterday, yes.
Hey, things are happening, right?
Things are happening.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll get a clearer number, maybe a final number in September.
Yes, you
Yes,
will.
great.
Absolutely.
Wow.
All right. Next we have Eric Grossi.
Hello.
We had 3 FOIA requests over the past month, one from Prairie State Wire, one from Jathian Technologies, and one from FEC Chicago. All 3 of those FOIAs have been completed. Statement of expenditures. New fiscal year started July 1st, 2023, which means we're just seeing our first month of expenditures up there. We saw roughly $1 million in expenditures, and the 3 main factors to these expenditures in July were salaries, benefits, and then finishing up the bathrooms in the middle school for summer construction. Statement of revenues, we did not receive anything too out of the ordinary revenue-wise in July either. The main revenues that we received were grant revenues that were just paid out to us after June 30th, so just timing of the payments. Our fund balances have not moved much since last month due to the fact that we brought in roughly the same amount of revenues and expenditures in July. It is important to note that we noticed an error on how our evidence-based funding was split up. I contacted the township to inform them, and they made the proper transfers. As a result, all of our funds officially have positive fund balances. So today I'm gonna bring to you guys the tentative budget for the 23-24
You have a copy in front of you.
And you guys have a copy in front of you.
Color coded, of course. Easily read, thank you, Eric.
Of course. Historical financial summary. The preliminary fiscal results from the 2022-2023 school year are above. District 124 incurred a surplus of $2,258,000 for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. This surplus increased our total fund balance to $17,885,000.
Wow.
As Mr. Grossi makes our presentation on our tentative budget, it's important to recognize that we are working with the union for the union to increase our fund balance reserves to better plan for our future and for our students. The intentionality behind this is to recruit and retain high-quality staff, and we have every intention of doing that. It's also to ensure financial responsibility and fiscal responsibility aligned to our board policy that states that we should have a minimum of 6 months in reserves. It's to also engage in district facility needs, as we know that there are a number of facility needs that need to take place, and expand programming for our students. Thanks, Eric.
Above, you'll see the revenues versus expenditures minus our construction expenditures that we had over the last, from 2016 to 2023. Over the past 8 years, the average annual non-capital surplus for District 124 was $118,000. This positive average is mainly due to the surpluses the district received in fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. Over the last 8 years, District 124 has incurred a deficit in 5 of them.
That's it, since Eric and I've started though.
Well done. That's really great.
Historical capital expenses, this slide represents what the district has spent on construction over the last 8 years. Over the past 8 years, District 124 invested $7.1 million in facility improvements, and most of these expenditures occurred in fiscal years 2016 and 2023.
So 2016 was the middle school, and then 2023 is our bond.
Yeah.
And the
It was the end of
punch
the
list of
holiday.
things that we were, yes, absolutely, okay.
Historical fund balance is all funds. On this slide, you will see the fund balances for the district from 2016 to 2023. There's a black line on the slide that represents the school board's policy of 6 months of reserves in case of an emergency. After we received our audit results for the 2021-2022 school year, we were able to identify that we are finally at the 6-month reserve level that we've been working toward.
Awesome. Dr. Thompson, yes, I think we should all,
Congratulations, Eric.
That's really
It's a team
amazing.
effort.
Well done, well
Now for
done.
the tentative budget. Budget timetable. Today, the budget has been on display in district office and it was posted for a public hearing in the paper. Today, I will also be presenting the tentative budget to the Board of Education. And then next month, on September 20th, at our next board meeting, I'll be holding a public hearing for the budget, and then you guys will be approving the final budget. The budget is filed then with the state within 30 days of you guys approving it. Under the board and Dr. Wilden's direction, I made it my goal these past 2 years to really try and focus on capitalizing on all forms of revenues in the school districts. Our increase in revenues is the main impact to why our fund balance has been increasing. We are budgeting for $33.5 million in revenue this school year. This is an increase from the last year's $31 million roughly in revenue that the district received. The two main factors to this increase in revenue are due to the fact that we levied for 5% last year, along with a property tax relief grant abatement running out. We are budgeting for roughly $33 million in expenditures for the current school year. This is $1.7 million higher than last year's expenditures. Salaries went up across the district along with large increases to insurance. If you look at the chart above, you'll notice that these two changes make up a good majority of the increase. The tentative budget reflects an all funds surplus of $177,000. This will cause the fund balance to increase to $18,062,000.
Which is even more solidly above our 6 months, yeah, 36 million would be awesome.
This chart represents our fund balances, our months of reserve, and our months of reserve against a 6-month reserve goal set by the Board of Education. As stated earlier, we started to have 6 months of reserve at the end of the 21-22 school year. If all goes as planned, we should be close to having 7.22 months of fund balance reserve at the end of the 23-24 school year.
Great.
And now I have a quick food service update. As you may or may not know, Governor Pritzker signed a bill enacting free lunches for K-12 students. Although he signed this bill, the funding for the bill was not solidified. I talked with the state prior to tonight's school board meeting to try and get the most up-to-date information for this situation. The state confirmed to me that funding is not available at this moment, and that the program will not officially begin until the funding is available which the funding is budgeted to be $9 million. Unfortunately, the initial communication that the district received was that the bill went into effect immediately. However, that was inaccurate. Now, what does this mean for the district and for parents? We will be sending out communication tomorrow with updated information on how to pay for lunches. If families qualify for free and reduced, we're gonna, same as in the past, it will be free meals for the school. So if you're free and reduced, you're still free at the moment. Well, you will still be free, and then there will be more communications tomorrow. Thanks. Does anyone have any questions on anything?
Just, quickly, on the free lunch program,
Yes.
reading the state statute, is curious, is it stating that you have to participate or you can elect to participate? Because I couldn't get a clear understanding in the statute.
You could elect, it's like all willing participants, it says. So you could elect, but I'm assuming every single
Yeah.
district would want to elect for free.
Because the reimbursement was like, it was like 15 cents or the price of the meal, whichever is less, which was being reimbursed back to, it appeared to the school board. And then the school board was reimbursing the districts. But the law is weird.
No, yeah, when I talked to Disney earlier today, they were still trying to like figure things out because they said they've been fumbling all over, just trying to figure out like what's going on with all of that, and then just reading through the guidelines of the statute just to make sure that everyone's properly educated for it.
Yeah, because the reimbursement was, it's small, it's like 15 cents.
That's crazy.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, and we will ensure that once we get updated information from the state, that we can provide full reimbursement before we went down a path of not being able to fund it appropriately.
Well done.
Thank you.
It's difficult for a school district. We can't create more widgets. We aren't a production facility. And the fact that you have found additional revenue sources when we can't create more widgets is really noteworthy. So if not everybody realize, like, we can't make the, I mean, we could try to print the money, but I'm pretty sure that's not,
Very well.
pretty sure we're gonna, you're too honest for that, and so am I, but the fact that you were able to find more revenue streams is amazing. And that really just needed to be affirmed and appreciated, so
Awesome, thanks, I appreciate it.
thank you. It's amazing, that's really great news, so, thanks.
Thank you.
I know, right? Great. Okay,
All right, our next update is from Dr. Carlson and Mrs. Tar.
again, you're with us.
Yours this time was really fun. Like, that was so I have brought Amanda up with me. Last week we had a really great professional development opportunity with Yvette, Dr. Yvette Dubai, who has done a lot of our DEI training for us, and she worked with the administrative team. We know that one of the things that we do all the time and really that impacts everything that we do is our evaluation of teachers, and really looking at, as I said with Amanda, really being able to look at everything through an equity lens. We spent some time on that training really looking at the evaluation tool and what pieces we could, how we could look at it through that equity lens. So I'm gonna let Amanda kind of talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so the tool that's used is the Danielson Evaluation Tool, and there are 4 main domains that are used in this tool to evaluate teachers. And in our training last week, we focused on domains 2 and 4. 2 is about learning environments, 4 is about professional responsibilities. So the admin team, the dream team, we did a SOAR activity, and SOAR is for strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. And we looked at those domains and we identified current strengths and areas for development. We gathered information to audit the indicators to reflect equity-based practices. And then we used the tool to gather results, to reflect and provide resources for the teachers. And on the next slide, there's actually an example So this is from domain 2, section A, creating an environment of respect and rapport. And there's the indicator and how the teacher rates on that indicator. So we sat down together as teams and kind of wrote down areas of strengths and areas for opportunities. And now that we have that identified, we'll be able to look at this through an equity lens when we see her again next month, September 14th.
It was a really good day. It was well spent, and anytime that we can bring clarity to this document to teachers and staff, especially around the area of equity and teaching in a culturally responsive manner, it's helpful. So she's kind of guiding us through that process. So
We had a lot of discussion about being able to provide teachers with concrete examples. So you might be able to see a rubric, this is the rubric I'm being evaluated on, but if an administrator needs to give a teacher reflective practices of what they need to improve on, they need that concrete repertoire to really work around. So the goal is really for our administrative team to create those examples to then bring them to staff.
it's a good day.
That was a good day. I got to know Amanda better that day.
You were on it.
David was there too, yeah.
Good things
You were there the
that day.
whole day. I was not
Yes.
there the whole
Had
day.
a lot of fun.
But it was good. It was, for the part it was really good work, so. Absolutely. Thank you for all that.
Can I ask what are domains 1 and 3?
1 and 3,
One is planning and preparation, and then domain 3 is the instruction piece. So we'll get to those next time. Yeah, absolutely. All right,
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Next, Ms. Trell is gonna report out on PBIS. You can also see in front of you, she created a memo just to further explain the work that we're doing. And she is also going to speak to it now.
Hey, back.
Welcome.
So I just wanted to remind everyone that this is part of our long-term strategic plan. So when we're looking at PBIS and SEL, we're evaluating our current systems and supports for our students. So on August 7th, Monday, August 7th, we held a PBIS training here at district office. We invited all current 5 school PBIS teams. So that includes principals, assistant principals, their coaches that they have on their individual tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 teams, and then we had district staff as well. So the training was facilitated by K-12 Systems Change, which is Dr. Jen Dale. So I'll kind of go into what we did on that day, but I just want to rewind a little background of what we've done last year. So obviously we obtained our community partnership grant and established our district community leadership team. We began the work last school year, meeting monthly. The DCLT team consisted of district administrators and then our building administrators as well. We partnered with Midwest PBIS, the Center for Self-Actualization, and the Evergreen Park Library. So part of the work that we did, we were using an integrated systems framework to guide our work, which really kind of focuses on adding those mental health supports to support our students. So last school year, some of the things that the DCLT team did was creating that vision and mission statement, conducting an initiative inventory across the school district, evaluating our PBIS programs and interventions that we currently had in place. We coordinated services with the Center for Self-Actualization, put counselors in each building to kind of get to know staff, get to know students, and provide some additional support for those students. We also identified and established additional programs and resources that were offered at the Evergreen Park Library, and then we created some additional partnerships with local agencies like the SXU Birth to 3 program, the farm. We also had the mayor attending, and then we had representation from the high school as well. Some additional work that we did in the 2022-23 school year revolving around behavior and social emotional learning. Obviously, as an admin team, we are really kind of internally reviewing our PBIS system as a whole, and really looking and reevaluating what our core commitments are at each tier. We kind of shifted our focus in January as a response to, some of our student behaviors, focusing that professional or institute day on working with staff, providing behavior strategies, and doing a whole PBIS reboot. We also created as a district admin team a uniform response to student behavior manual, and then use as like an internal system throughout the district. And then obviously we got approval to add additional staff members, particularly our BCBA, to support students and staff members, including training and professional development, which is very exciting. So this is all about our training on August 7th. So we did have a number of our tier teams participate, which was great. So again, in conjunction with K-12 systems, we hosted the training, which was a jam-packed whole day. So all staff members from each building that are on their tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 teams were invited, and the whole purpose of the training was kind of to revisit our PBIS teams, what those should look like, and help implement that PBIS framework consistently across all of our school districts. So training components consist of just kind of reviewing what I reviewed with you, so what our DCLT team did last school year, and then we also broke out into sessions by school. So each school kind of looked in depth at the tier fidelity tool, which is a rubric that you use at each tier to kind of look at how you are implementing that PBIS framework. So you're looking at your team your team composition. You're looking at your team systems. You're looking at your behavior expectations. So kind of talking through those things and what that looks like at each tier. They also kind of did a deep dive a little bit into their SWIS data, so the discipline data, and what that looks like at each tier, kind of answering some questions and looking at trends that they saw. So they're reviewing now PBIS interventions and doing like a resource map at each school. What we have, obviously our tier 1, we have PBIS across the district. We also have our SEL programs in the elementary buildings, which is second step. What we do at tier 2 pretty consistently across the elementary buildings is a check-in and check-out system. It may vary what that looks like. So we're really kind of diving back into what that should look like according to PBIS to make it consistent, is kind of what Dr. Woodland noted. We all filter into one middle school. So we really want to make sure that we're aligning everything. And then we reviewed like the foundations of tier meetings, like what a good tier meeting looks like, best practice for running effective tier meetings, making sure there's assigned roles, making sure that the data that's being analyzed is the same, and that there's outcomes and agendas. So what's to come? So next steps. So this year we're going to continue as a DCLT team. We're having our kickoff meeting in September. We're going to change a little bit. Last year we met monthly, and although we're going to continue to meet monthly, we are going to do alternative months in regards to the whole group, which will include our community members. And then the next month we'll meet as a district team members, including our district and admin team. And the purpose of that was to dive into the data, do the data analysis. So when we come to the whole group with our community partners, we're not, I don't want to say wasting time, but we have that data to present, and we can dive deeper into like developing action plans and coordinate those community services. So just like making the most of our time and being efficient. We're going to continue to partner with the Center for Self-Actualization, obviously providing additionally counseling services for our students across the district. We definitely saw that as a benefit. And then school-based PBIS training. So we're going to continue that ongoing coaching monthly. Dr. Jen Dale is going to, provide those coaching opportunities with each of our buildings at each of their tier meetings. So whether it's a tier 1, a tier 2, or tier 3 meeting 3. So helping those teams and making sure that it's consistent PBIS implementation across the district. I think that one of the things that I was super excited about for PBS training, obviously we did have a lot of staff members coming in, summer months. But I think that, with COVID in the past couple of years, like really needing to kind of go back to the beginning and really look at some of those systems, and even, let's say, some of our teams that have been performing in like higher functioning, found some, definite areas where they can, provide a little bit more, or kind of utilize our coach a little bit more for that. So I think overall it was good, and that it definitely will support us, and will finding a way to embed our VCBA in some of our tier meetings as well. So all good things.
That's great. You remember where it all evolved?
I know.
Like,
So does Denise, I'm sure.
and not that it all evolved, but like, I just remember, because my goodness, there's been so much else going on, but I remember the conversations at district review team, and it's really gratifying to see these things come to, they're happening.
Yeah.
They're
And
happy.
we have the resources for our teachers to help our students,
Yes.
and that's
the most
what they
important
asked
thing.
for, and I'm really appreciative.
And alignment, I think our teachers have
Oh,
really
definitely.
asked for alignment, which is important. We can definitely learn from other buildings and what they're doing, and it's an opportunity for all principals to be in one space together, all team leaders to be in one space together, and really just collaborate with one another. And
There's great things happening out
Yeah.
there, so
yes,
share the wealth.
thrilled.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodness. So much information today.
It's August.
I know. And then it's like, okay, let's apply it. Like, I'm sure maybe I'm the only weirdo that's excited about that back to school kind of stuff, but like, I can't wait to, I can't wait to
That's why I'm
do
super
that,
excited.
like to use these tools with our students.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think that's just so
Exactly.
exciting for me. Thank you, sorry. Ms. Hernandez, we would be on to public comments, if there are any public comments. I'm still gonna read my script though, because well, that's what I do. So we are at the public comment part of our agenda. A few reminders specifically about logistics for public comment portion of every meeting, including this meeting, as is posted on our agenda publicly for every meeting. To respect all of our stakeholders, our commenters, our board, our public, we adhere very closely to the 3-minute limit for comments for everyone. We will set a timer and expect everyone to respect their 3 minutes. In addition, we do not respond at public meetings. We do not respond to public comments at board meetings, but we do hear them. We respect, we listen to, and we take into account the concerns. And if there's a specific question that comes up, we will absolutely respond. So, thanks. Okay. Board reports. Ms. Jones. Arrow. Yes. Tell us about Arrow.
The Arrow called a special board meeting for an update and approval for the school lunch program.
Okay.
They applied for the National School Lunch Program and they weren't accepted because they didn't have the numbers to back up the reasoning for having the program.
Okay.
So they went with Gourmet Gorilla, which is a
Okay.
healthy, holistic, organic lunch program. And so we approved Gourmet Gorilla to come in and service the students as well as the teachers. And they're gonna do that for a year, then reapply for the National School Lunch Program. By then, they'll have the numbers to show their reasoning and hopefully get approved for the program.
Yeah, and just to clarify, they never had like a hot lunch service before. Kids were expected to bring like bag lunch every day, so that's why they didn't qualify.
Yeah.
So next year, at the end of next year, they'll have the numbers to support why
A lot
they,
of the kids were outplaced, a lot of their kids were outplaced due to the other buildings. We're not
Right.
in
Of course,
our building.
of course, right?
but they have this beautiful new kitchen, right? So we are now able to provide services for kids, food service for kids.
And yeah, I know how popular the lunches are in District 125. important for staff. So the fact that they get to serve, that they get to support them is great too.
Absolutely.
That's funny, my daughter's soccer team, one of the sponsors, and I've always wondered who it was, says Gourmet Gorilla on the side.
Okay. Now you know.
Now I know.
Now you know.
I never looked it up, I was just.
We all have to Google this when we go home, right? You know, I'm very curious.
It's right on her uniform.
Does the gorilla do the cooking? Is it GUE? Like, is it a, you know, like gourmet, like stealth? I don't know. That's awesome.
It sounds like it's a really good, company.
That's great.
So they were willing to, you know, allow Arrow to try them out, so. Sounds good, yeah.
Definitely. And ribbon cutting is?
September 13th, sorry. September 13th, I believe he said at 4 p.m.
4 o'clock, yes,
Okay, that's exciting.
yes. We will be there, right?
Do we know, when do they go? I'm putting you on the spot. I'm sorry, Brett.
September the 5th, that Tuesday
Oh, day
after.
after Labor Day. Okay,
Is when, yep, first day of school for the youngsters.
Can't wait to see it. It was-
Everyone's so excited, ready.
Yeah, ready.
And we are too.
Yes, absolutely. I walked by Southwest School today, cause I do that, and the plantings are beautiful at Southwest School. I was like, look at that. I'm cavelling at 6:30 in the morning going, ooh, yay! I'm sure neighbors are thinking I'm crazy, but like, it's so great to see everything come together and be so beautiful and ready, so. I can't wait to see it for the official.
You can tell Dr. Roslin, he's ready, his face is ready, beat up, he's working,
Oh, yeah.
rolled up. I mean,
It's a heavy
it's
lift.
all good, it's just.
Yeah.
it's just
Oh,
really
I'll give,
yeah.
I give them a lot of credit, it's a heavy lift.
They did a very, very good job.
That's exciting.
They are hosting an open house for all their parents too.
Oh, nice.
August 29th, they sent, each, district level council member an email to send to all our parents.
That's a great idea, though. I mean, a new building, it can be scary for everybody, right?
So I sent it out to all our, parents that have students at Arrow.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. Very good. And, next up is, did you have anything more?
No.
Sorry, is there, so policy, that table.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, so, we met on August the 2nd and discussed some upcoming policy changes that are needed to be made, to be in accordance with the state statute and just for the betterment of the student body, for their protection and their safety. So basically, the majority of the changes are based upon, the faith law. Faith law is it's a two-part law that was enacted through Illinois. The second part has just went into effect in July. So basically, faith law is named after a prevention advocate and child sexual abuse survivor. Her name was Faith Carlson. She graduated from an Illinois school here in 2000. While she attended the school, she was sexually abused by her teacher. In her later years, during a legal proceeding, she basically related the abuse that she was going through. Through that, they discovered that several of the administrators there knew that there was some kind of inappropriate relationship going on, but they didn't do anything about it. So she was just continuously abused while she was at school. From there, she became an advocate basically, and she pushed for basically educator sexual misconduct in K through 12 schools to be changed in Illinois. With that came two laws that was passed. The first one took effect December the 3rd of 2021, which established a definition for sexual misconduct in the school code. So now there's a clear definition of what sexual misconduct is, so there's something that you can go off of. Further, there was a requirement for basically an outline that the requirement for the schools to develop and post employee code of professional conduct policies. So therefore, now the school will be responsible for producing those conduct policies that the administrators and teachers will have to go by. The second part of that, it expanded it a little bit more. So there's a two-part to that law, which actually defined the word grooming now, and it put it inside of the Illinois Criminal Code. Prior to that, it was not part of the criminal code, but now it is part of the criminal code, and that leads, that type of conduct qualifies now to basically be abuse of a child. which is now under the Abuse and Neglect Child Reporting Act. So that was the first part of the law. The second part was passed just this July, which went into effect, which focused a little bit more on the prevention of making sure that we don't get to FAPES level ever again in Illinois. So that basically did a lot of requirement of basically the schools taking on the onus of knowing who their employees are, substitute employees, who the contractors are, to make sure there's a historical review as to what's in their background pertaining to sexual abuse upon hiring. So therefore, that led to the new policies that are gonna be put in place that we're gonna go over. There was a second part that was added to the second law, which put a little bit more onto the superintendent's shoulders right there. Because now she has the responsibility, if she reasonably believes that there is a licensee holder that committed an act of sexual misconduct, she has to report that to the state superintendent of education. And then it's gonna go where it goes. She also has been empowered to, I think it's revoke licenses.
The state superintendent has the
superintendent,
ability
yes,
to revoke
revoke
a
license, yeah.
teacher's license.
So the ultimate goal of the whole law in itself was for, is to give parents and guardians notice regarding allegations of sexual misconduct that involves, their child. It's to equip the schools across Illinois with better information regarding the employment history of an applicant or an employee of a contractor. So this goes to contractors also, whoever we do business with as a school district. Now we need to know what they're doing before we do business with them. It also goes on to give the schools the resources necessary to make well-informed decisions about who they are employing and contracting with, and protect students from acts of sexual misconduct by school employees, substitutes, and employees of the contractors. So that's the gist of the law and why it was enacted. From there, we discussed the several policies that we're gonna make changes to here in the district. We went over them. They're all listed here. And I'll just sum them up. So basically, we cleaned up some language in one of the policies, which was 340. The requirement for the background checks is in 440 now. So that will be sexual misconduct background checks of employees and contracted employees. 530 requires the district to implement a sexual misconduct within a hiring process. So basically, when all new hirees come about, they will be supplied with a form that's actually in this packet too, and that they have to provide us with that information when we're hiring. We also are gonna take on the responsibility of reaching out to all of their former employers to ask them, was there any sexual misconduct reported while they were employed with the previous employer? That practice, like I was explaining to the superintendent, is something that the state uses right now in a training board with police officers. We literally have to now go back to all their former employers and get all this information, put it together and send it down to the state for the state to go ahead and approve the police officers now. We got 590, which is going to require the district to inform the parents or guardians of the faith law resources. That's already posted on the school district's website for any parent to go see and review. It was wonderful reading, and it also has all of the contact information. No matter where you live, you can reach out to someone. So it's already done. See, we are conforming with the law. Share with the law.
Thanks to Patricia.
Right?
Yes.
5125 gives the state superintendent the power to revoke or suspend a teacher's license if they are involved in sexual misconduct. 5150 requires that the district share sexual misconduct information with other new employers and complete proper paperwork for hiring. So if I got this correct, that allows us to verify their request when it comes over to us.
Correct, yep.
So therefore, if someone asks us, we're gonna verify what we might have.
This has been brewing for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and it's really good to see
Yeah.
that this
It is
is
good to
happening.
see. It is a heavy lift, I will say, on the HR
Yes.
department. It's definitely a heavy lift, so
Right.
we
Thank you.
appreciate their efforts.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And last but not least is 5260, which requires sexual misconduct checks for student teachers. Even the student teachers have to be checked. So it's a pretty complete law. I kinda like it. It's really cool. With that said, there's two other policies that we proposed that were not related to this. One was requiring the district to have an accelerated placement program that has a equal educational opportunity in place. That was due to us needing to hire, right?
No, that is currently in place, so we already, it's just a minor language change.
Okay, there you go, minor
But we
language.
currently have an equitable system for appointing students for accelerated placement.
And then we had to, in response to the book banning, the districts are required to put together a process for parents or guardians to appeal or review of an objection. Currently, we don't have any.
We don't currently, but we'll be putting one into place with our district librarian. So if you recall, in response to book banning, we need to offer the opportunity to parents if something like literature related was brought home that a parent was not satisfied with or thought was inappropriate, that we have a process to ensure that they can object to that literature being in our library.
Okay. And inside the packet that's in front of you, board members, is I pulled the sample forms that an employer may provide to a potential applicant that they would have to
Yes.
print out. So you'll be, if you were curious as to what we might ask them, or, you know, the state gave sample forms, and also they gave a sample form of what we would supply to an employer,
Yes, and we are using all of these forms, so.
using all those forms.
Great research.
Yes.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
No, that was really thorough, and thank you. I understand Faith's Law much better now, and I know from delegate assembly, like
Yes.
where it is really great to see how it all fits together, because every year we've been voting on these things, because it's important, and seeing how us all evolve is really great, so. Wow, that was a lot of information. You guys were busy on August 2nd, weren't you? Was it like this thick?
No, you just did a lot of
We had superpowers, right? We gotta do them really fast.
I had one little
Right.
page of notes.
Press packets are like, the press packets are giant.
shorthand knows.
Yeah, one little
Oh, I
page,
know.
that's it.
Very, she's very clever.
And I was like, well, yeah.
So nothing to add.
No, I
Okay.
have nothing.
Thank you for that.
I do think
Yeah.
though it is important to note that the board is taking action on updating policy with Press Plus.
Very excited about Press Plus.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we will be reviewing that process, and we received initial communication from IASB, or did I say that right? IASB?
IASB.
Okay, sounded wrong for a minute.
So Press Plus, right now, our policy committee and Dr. Woodland, they really do get like half a tree each of paperwork. And some of it, we get all of it, even though some of it doesn't apply to K-8, right? We get the high school things, it's one-sided, like, I mean, the page is one-sided, it's crazy. There's so much paper wasted, and the process is slow. So once we vote on it, then Ms. Hernandez has to make it into our actual policy online and such. So we have the opportunity to try something called Press Plus, which many other districts in Illinois already use. And so we are planning to take on Press Plus, and that will give us an opportunity to review our policies and also to get it into a much more user-friendly form on our website. Because it is not currently in a user-friendly form. Every time I have to go find policy to support decisions that we make, it's a PDF and it's cumbersome and clunky and so that is an opportunity that we are, something we are doing this year. And it's gonna be big,
It's gonna be great.
but it's gonna be necessary, and I'm glad we're doing it, so,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. So, thank you, yes, that was a good opportunity to talk about Press Plus. And we'll save some trees. We can only hope. Mostly it's the user-friendly and being able to update things quickly, and having our community be able to navigate it, and ourselves. Imagine that, right? Okay. We will move on to our action items, item number 8 on our agenda. First is our consent agenda, item A. Number 1 is to approve the monthly transaction reports for July of 2023. Number 2 is to approve fund balance reports for July of 2023. Number 3 is to approve expenditure report and projected payroll report for August of 2023. Number 4 is to approve our board minutes from the regular board meeting of July 19th, 2023. Number 5 is to approve the closed session minutes from the regular board meeting of July 19th, 2023. Number 6 is to approve the board minutes from the special meeting of August 2nd, 2023. Number 7 is to approve the closed session minutes for the special meeting of August 2nd, 2023. Number 8 is to approve destruction of closed session tapes from April of 2019. And number 9 is to approve the personnel recommendations as listed. We have 7 additions, just in time for back to school. We do have 1 FMLA, and we have 2 resignations. I don't know if we have those positions hired for again too, but that's okay. So if I could have a first motion, please, to accept consent agenda item number A.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. And a second. Thanks. And a roll call?
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Michael Thomas,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Item B is to approve the tentative budget as presented by Mr. Grossi this evening. This is approved tentative budget, so he did walk us through the process that we still have to do. Approve that for the 23-24 school year. If I could have a first motion, please.
Motion to approve the tentative budget for the 23-24 school year.
We're so thorough, thank you. Great, and a second, please.
I'll second his motion.
Excellent. And a roll call?
Michael Thomas,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
So we will also, item C is to approve the first reading of revised board policies 2110, 340, 460, 530, 590, 5125, 5150, 5170, 5260, 6135, 6230, and 820, as recommended by the Illinois Association of School Boards. If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
Second.
Excellent. And a roll call?
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Michael Thomas,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Excellent. And item D is to approve the second reading and adoption of the revised board policies that I just listed and that are found on the agenda, as recommended by the Illinois Association of School Boards. If I could have a first motion, please.
Motion to approve those items.
You don't want to read them either. And a second, please.
I'll give you a second. We don't want to read it.
And a roll call.
Michael Thomas.
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. And now we will recess to closed session. Rachel says don't say it. To discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or legal counsel to determine its validity. We will take action on just one item afterwards, but I do not expect all of you to stick around until then, if you really want to. And we also will be ending the streaming at this point. Okay, 7:14. Make a motion.
Motion to move to closed session.
Excellent.
Second.
Thank you. And a roll call?
Alright. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
7:14 closed session.
Check us out.
Yes.
Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
New people too. 7:14, no?